Hey guys, so I want to show you today a little bit about what's in that DBA, right? Boss Academy. All right, it's an awesome course, guys. And again, today they want to talk to you guys about Gemini and so here's the instructor, and it's part of volume 1, which is again, sorry, my camera's not working very good today, so I'm not going to try to talk to you on camera. But yeah, I just want to give you a preview into here, and you guys can listen up in a minute. Again, this is just one of the skills you can learn, and volume 1 of DBA that I talk about on TikTok. And again, it's a great way to make money, guys. We buy these courses and then you have the rights to resell them. But today they're going to be teaching you guys about SEO and Gemini. So listen to the instructor, and then we'll listen together and I'll get back to you. Okay? All right. So here we go.
Favor of SVK, and I'm excited to have you here. I'm so glad you took this bold step to join this amazing mini course, and this is something that I've been planning to do for a long time. And just because I know that I wanted to get this started with you early in the morning, I decided to wait so that I can actually give you some fresh information, and I'll give you last week's news, 2 weeks news. I'm giving you fresh news so you can see the date stamp, you can see the time stamp, and you can see how important this is to me, because I think about how important this is for you. So this is the first video, and we're going to have 3 videos so that you can know how to install your Google Search Console for yourself and why this is so important for your business. Now, I'm sure you've heard me say this so many times on my podcast, on Clubhouse, on social media, just like listening to me to tell you exactly how important this is. So if you're looking at my screen, right, you'll notice that there's something new on my screen. There's something called generative AI. Now, this generative AI is so important for you to understand, because this is the new way how Google is going to keep you searching or keep you in search mode. Because right now, generative AI is an experiment, and info quality may vary. Now, they're just giving you that just in case something may happen, but most times it's 99.9% accurate. Now, the reason why you're looking at this page like this is because when you search for something on Google, you want to see it within the Google search results. Now, the only way that you can be seen on Google search results is by connecting your website to Google Search Console. Now, I'll say this real quick before we continue, because I don't want this to be a long video. I want this to be maybe at least 10 minutes, because I want to make sure that each video is about 10 minutes long, so that you can actually get the information, implement it, and come back and ask me for more questions, right? If this is a self-study for you, please make sure that you rewind this video, you go over it, and feel free to ask me any questions that you want. But this will just be on a light touch-up. If you're training with me, even better, because now once you get through this, you can get to ask me these questions in our private discussion. So generative AI is a new tool by Google itself, right? And with Google, they are focusing on quality, they're focusing on experience, they're focusing on content, and they're focusing on experience, right? Now, I've said this before, Google Search Console, and this is something that came from generative AI. This is not ChatGPT, this is not Cloud, this is not Perspective AI or Perplexity AI. This is generative AI. And it says, and this is Google itself telling you what itself is, if that makes sense, right? Google Search Console is a free tool. Now, when you hear the word free tool, you have to think about the importance of why this is important to Google. Because Google could have easily charged you an arm and a leg to get this connected, but they did it for free because they know the importance of organic ranking. Now, it makes so much sense, because if you want to pay for Google ads, you have to pay some money to get those ads up the search, right? But because it's a free, organic experience, they wouldn't want to charge you for that experience. That's why it's also free. It makes sense. So Google Search Console is a free tool that helps website owners like you, right? Webmasters like me, and SEO professionals monitor and improve their site's performance in Google search results. Now, the keyword here is improve their search performance. The reason why it's important to think about this site performance is because whenever you have a website, you always bring an experience. So the experience you're bringing to people should be determined by how well Google can see your website. If Google can see your website, amazing. So you want to make sure that you are connecting your website to Google Search Console so it can improve your site's performance. And the reason why is because GSC, which is Google Search Console, it provides insight on how Google crawls and indexes a site. Now, let me just stay here a little bit. Crawling, you know when a baby crawls, right? They're crawling to go somewhere. Now, when Google crawls your website, Google is scanning your website from the top of the page to the bottom of the page to see where in between that page you have context, you have performance, you have experience. So in between those pages, they're looking for videos from YouTube or from Vimeo. They're looking, or even TikTok, they're looking for embeds from different social media. They're looking for internal links, and an internal link means that if I click on this link, it's going to take me to another web page on your website that's going to refer me to more context about the previous page I clicked on, right? External page means if I click on this big page, it's going to take me to another website outside your domain. Simple as that. And then indexing is pretty much putting you within a ranking, putting you within a competitive state. So if you are ranking first and there are people who are ranking second and third, there's a reason why you're ranking first. There's a reason why they're ranking second and third. Maybe because your content is new, maybe because you added more context, maybe because you added some statistics, maybe because you added a video, maybe because you added some table of contents, maybe because you added some FAQs, maybe because you added some schema. There are so many things to consider, but these are things that you shouldn't worry about. What you should be focusing on is how can I get my content out there? Once it's out there, then I can start to build out from there. Now, this may even take a longer than 10-minute video because I actually want to give you guys some more context. Are you with me? Let's go. So it indexes your site and it also helps you identify and fix issues that may be impacting a site's visibility in the search results. Now, when you click this, it's going to give you different results, just like you see here. When you click here, it's also going to tell you what is Google Search Console, right? Now, if you look at this, right, we're in 2023, but you're looking at something from 2022. That tells you that the lifespan of a post, whether you're using it on LinkedIn, whether you're using it on your website, you want to make sure that your content is rich in context. That's going to help you grow. And then Google Search Console reports on a variety of metrics, including search appearance and user experience. Now, you've heard this, search experience and user experience, right? Now, search experience is highly focusing on things like search intent, right? How do you show up on the search? Do you have a compelling title? Do you have a title that has keywords? Do you have a title that has context? Do you have a title that has a promise? Do you have titles? You can have more than one title for each page, right? Each title has to have that delivery message, right? And that's a search appearance. How well do you search and how well do you find yourself within that search? And then, of course, user experience. We all know what that is when it comes to what do I feel? Do I feel like this page is loading too fast? Is it too slow? Is it too janked up? Do I scroll down? Do I have to reload the page? You have to think about all those things, right? And this can help your site improve. You see the word improve comes up again here, and it was also again here. So this site, Google Search Console, will help you improve your site and get more traffic from Google. Now, that's what I want to focus on a little bit, right? And this is now the Google Search Console I'm talking about, which we're about to go into. Google Search Console was formerly called Google Webmaster Tools. Just wanted to give you, so GSC used to be called GWT, right? This was back in the day. So right now you hear Google Search Console, maybe you've heard Webmaster Tools before. So this is kind of like the same thing. So once you look at this, you want to understand the value and you also want to build on that value. So when you look at it from this perspective, right, you want to ask yourself, okay, how can my business grow and how can I put my business in a position to actually thrive, right? So now that you are seeing that, right, I want us to dive deeper. Now, before I go any deeper into Google Search Console, because I'm sure you're wondering, what is this? Favor, I want to know more about this. Now, you can see there's a little icon here and there's a little icon here. Now, this thing is called Search Labs. You can go to labs.google.com/search/experiments. So you can literally copy this URL wherever you are. If you're looking at this, you can type this URL up until before the equal sign and also before the question mark. So focus on these right here. That's what's going to help you long term, right? Now, when you're doing this for your business, you want to make sure that your business is thriving and this is on. So this is ending December 2023, this is ending December 2023, this is ending December 2023, and this, of course, is ending September 2023. So when you turn this on, that's when you're going to see that search lab, and then this is also going to help you to know while you're browsing. So for example, if I click on Google Search Console tools, right, it's going to take me to the About section, right? Now, when you look at this section, I want you also to be very focused on this part right here. Now, there's a section that has a G on it. When I click on this G, right, look at what happens. It's going to tell me everything, and that's coming from the second option I showed you here in Search Labs. So you're going to have something that shows up here with a G. It's going to give you the source. It's going to give you more details. So it pretty much tells you more about the page. So you can see the journey, especially with the journey, the search. You can see all those things with this G side here. Now, because I'm looking at this, I also have this tab open. But because I have this already open, then I will need to have this open. So we've talked about improvement. So if you noticed, the word improve shows up so many times. Now, the reason why this is so important for you to look at is because you want to look at your website like land, and you also want to look at your website like a dashboard. Now, those are two different things, land and a dashboard, right? Land is where you have the property. I've said this, treat your website like land. And the only way you can improve on your property is by improving on the experience and adding more links to the page, right? Now, before we go into the next video, I want to just give you like a quick insight because we're still going to stay on this page in the next video for a little bit more time before we go deeper into this, because I want to make sure that you really understand this and you can replay this, over. Like, this is very basic, but it's also very fundamental. Once you understand this, and I say Google Search Console again on Clubhouse, I say Google Search Console again on my podcast, I say Google Search Console wherever you hear me, or you hear someone else talk about it, right? You will know exactly what they are talking about. Google Search Console is different from Google Analytics. Google has different products, right? There's Google Mail, there's Google Keep, it's Google Maps, right? So Google Search Console is different from Google Analytics. Sometimes people confuse the two, and I get it. But if you are focusing majorly on Google Search Console, you will always be winning, right? So now, Search Console tools and reports help you measure your site's traffic, performance, fixes issues, and makes your site shine in Google search results. Now, the reason why you need to shine is because you have to be on this green side. And you can see this dot right here. You want to make sure that you are on this green side. Because remember, when you're starting a car, you start the car, it's warming up, it gets hot, and then you're able to go, right? Now, you want to think about your website like this. When you start your website, it starts here. Because it starts at the very low. It's very cold, it's very below sea level. No one really knows what's going on there. But once it starts to hit the green mark, that's because now everybody's going to your website because it's green. It means they're going. When you see green, when you're watching Olympics, go. That go is green, right? When you see green on your dashboard, right? Not even on your dashboard. When you see green as a search traffic, right? When you see your traffic lights and they turn green, it means you can go. So it's the same thing here as well. You want to focus on that. Then if you also want to look at it too, make sure that you also check this website out, or you just type in Google Search Console on Google and you get this site as well. Now, optimizing your content with search analytics. See which queries bring users to your site. Now, this is very important because Google Search Console highly depends on your content. Now, you can have content on social media, you can have content on email, you can have content anywhere, but you want to make sure that your content is bringing users with the search experience that we talked about to your site. So, if you're talking about, I'm going to give an example. Let's say you want to talk about, I'm thinking, yeah, solar power, right? Or solar panels, right? So if you have a solar panel business, this just came to mind now because I want this to be fresh for you. If you have a solar panel business and you want to sell solar panels for solar energy, right? You're going to type in solar energy. You're going to type in what are the best things to do for solar energy. I'll even give you an example. If I now say solar energy products, right? Now, if I type in solar energy products, it's going to give me all types of products. And guess what? This is also generating too. So you also want to make sure that you're in here. But now, guess what? When you look at all these results here, right, you will see that, okay, I'm looking for things to do with Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot on sale, under 1,000, sun power. Always look out for these things here, 100 watts, 200 watts, Lowe's, power bank, portable. All these are keywords. So if you can focus and say that, okay, I want to talk about solar energy products under 100 watts. I want to talk about solar energy products under 200 watts. You want to think about all these 6 sections, right? And use them as content pieces that are going to improve your search content. Because when you look back here, right? When you look back at your search console, these are queries. So queries means that people are typing. They're analyzing your impressions, your clicks, and your position on Google search. So if I'm looking at this search products, right, and I'm using Search Labs, I'm going to look and see who are the people ranking first for these things. And you can notice Bob Villa is already ranking twice for these things. It's probably the same thing too. Now, when you look at these results, you want to see that, okay, when shopping for solar energy products, you consider things like type of panel, right? It gives you an article, 8 factors to consider buying solar panels, right? That's 2021. We're in 2023. Performance, same thing. You see, the same article. Panel size, the same article. Durability, same article. Warranty, you get my point. Panel cost, maybe something else will show up. PV module, something else will show up. The same thing. So if you notice, out of all these options, you've only seen 2 articles to tell you that 1, there's low competition. 2, there's more content you can get from here, and you can also be part of this results because this person wrote it in 2021 and this person wrote it, this is Australia, so this may even be another year. Maybe it might be 2021, but it's still just a low count, right? Now, when you look at these results, you're going to see all the different types of results. You're going to see all the different prices. You're going to see the ones that are under 1,000, the ones that are above 1,000, and you can now create content for those things. Now, when you use this Search Labs, it makes your life easy. You don't even have to go all the way down to Google search results because all your results are here. Now, if I were you and I was talking about solar panel and I have a solar panel business, right? I'm going to use something like this and talk about the types of panels, when looking for solar power or looking for solar panels, right? How performance works when you're choosing solar energy products. How to consider the panel size for solar energy products. How to determine the durability of solar energy products, how to find the best warranty options for solar energy products, what are the various panel costs for solar energy products. Now, when you do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those are 6 articles I can write individually. I hope you're getting my point here. These are 6 individual articles that you can write for your business and talk about it. That's going to influence the queries right here. So when you look at these results, when you get your content on Google, right, you're building a sitemap. And I've talked about a sitemap before. A sitemap is a GPS, and I've always said it. A sitemap is a GPS of your website, right? Let me close this solar energy products tab. It's a place where if you don't have a sitemap connected to your website, and I'll show you how a sitemap looks in the next video. But when you have a sitemap, every website has a sitemap, right? You go to your website.com /sitemap.xml. Now, I'll break those things down. There's HTML and XML. Now, XML is going to be a list of just text that also shows your property. You know, like when you have your property, it tells you the square foot, it tells you how many rooms, it tells you where it's located, it tells you the condition, it tells you the amenities. That's the same thing as a sitemap. So when you look at your sitemap, you want to look and see, okay, how does my sitemap work? And what do I do with my sitemap to make sure that you are also getting those results on your end? Because if I'm trying to get to this point over here, how do I get here when I'm starting here? If someone is searching here, how do they find me here? So that's what the sitemap is. And it's also picking up individual URLs. So how do I put this? Remember when I said that your website is like land? So every link you add is going to improve on your ranking because you're creating topic clusters. This is exactly what I mean. So you want to make sure that you are creating content that is able to be submitted. You're having focus-based keywords. You're having keywords in your URL, in your individual URL, and they're all being crawled because they're all being crawled together. So make sure that you're able to do that so that when you review your index coverage, you can also see the freshest view of your site. Google always wants the freshest view. Now, you're always going to get alerted on issues and fixing your site, right? You're going to receive email alerts. You're going to receive all these types of things. So it also gives you ideas on knowing how to use it better. So now that you're seeing that, right, you want to make sure, right? I'm just trying to give you a little pauses in between because I don't want to go too much above and I don't want to underwhelm you either. So after you understand what this page is doing and you understand, okay, how does Google Search Console see a page? There's something called an URL inspection tool that helps you to crawl, index, and serve information. Now, when you think about serving information, right, you're thinking about how do I deliver? If I'm serving you food, right, if I'm serving you food and I'm like, here's your food, you're going to be asking me, okay, thank you so much. What did you put in here? Or you may have already told me what you wanted in the food before I made it, right? Either or. Those are the two options, right? Now, when I'm serving you information, I'm serving it on a platter of gold. I'm serving it on a position where if I'm giving you this information, I'm telling you what it is, and I'm telling you exactly how to connect with this information.